Welcome to today's deep dive for July 17, 2026. Today, we are unpacking a truly fascinating collision happening right now between our booming digital ambitions and our increasingly fragile physical world. Honestly, it is the defining tension of our current economy.
We always hear about limitless tech growth, right? But how does that survive very real, gritty physical constraints? We're talking energy shortages, international conflict, and extreme weather. Our digital dreams are literally hitting a physical wall, and we really need to understand how these two forces interact.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the AI boom matures. Phase 2 of technology. Consider this massive figure for a second. $265 billion. That's TSMC's total investment commitment right now just for semiconductor manufacturing in Arizona. It's a prime example of the massive, real-world, physical infrastructure needed to drive artificial intelligence forward. As they say, you really can't have the cloud without the concrete. And this brilliantly illustrates a massive industrial transition. We're moving from Phase 1, which was all about just building the infrastructure and rewarding the semiconductor and equipment companies, into Phase 2, which is actually utilizing all that AI. Investors are totally shifting their focus. They're looking at established fields now: software, healthcare, cybersecurity, finance. The expectation is that workers in these industries are going to connect AI tools to practical business processes and generate some serious real-world value. But powering all of that infrastructure requires an immense amount of energy. Which brings us to Section 2. Geopolitics disrupts global energy. Global supply disruptions.
Now here's where things get tricky. Oil prices are heading toward a 12% jump this week alone. That is a massive spike and a critical pressure point because it threatens to completely reverse the substantial improvements in consumer and producer inflation that we literally just saw in June. So how do we even get a 12% spike? Well, it's basically a chain reaction. Step 1. American military strikes targeted bridges and electrical equipment near strategic ports in southern Iran. Step 2. Iran retaliated against allied facilities in places like Qatar and Bahrain. Step 3. This conflict heavily restricts the Strait of Hormuz, which is a crucial global shipping route. And finally, Step 4. That restriction directly leads to higher global fuel costs, and we're absolutely starting to see that reflected in tighter gasoline and diesel supplies right now.
Let's move to how this builds, because it's not just energy constraints pushing back on us, it's our environment itself. Section 3. Climate impacts daily life. Weather disruptions.
Severe physical realities are hitting the country as we speak. Over in the Southwest, we're seeing extreme, dangerous heat. Desert locations are lingering near or even above 110 degrees. Meanwhile, a completely different extreme is hitting the Midwest and the East Coast. Canadian and Minnesota wildfire smoke is creating widespread, really unhealthy air conditions across major metropolitan areas.
And these physical limits, they're even threatening major cultural events. Sunday's World Cup final in New Jersey, Argentina versus Spain, and quite possibly Lionel Messi's final World Cup appearance, by the way, is facing severe operational risks just because of this smoke. It's a perfect demonstration of how our physical environment directly impacts our global events.
So, the crucial point here is taking action based on what public health officials are actively advising right now. Check your local air quality index. Reduce strenuous outdoor activity. If you absolutely must be outside, use high-quality masks or effective filtration. And please make sure you're protecting vulnerable individuals, like older adults, kids, and anyone with chronic conditions.
Bringing all these threads together, let's look at what this friction means for the broader American economy. Section 4. Navigating a shifting economy. Balancing pressures. Our domestic economy is currently doing this complex balancing act. It actually began Friday with its momentum completely intact. Employers are super reluctant to lay off workers, and initial unemployment claims have actually fallen to a 10-week low. But there are severe pressure points weighing it all down. Rising energy costs, heavily constrained housing affordability thanks to high mortgage rates, and the looming threat of renewed inflation. Because of all this friction, hiring is becoming much, much more selective. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to consider today. As AI builds the digital future, can our physical infrastructure, our energy grids, our supply chains, our actual climate, can it actually keep up? It's an incredible challenge of resilience and resources. Thank you so much for joining me for this analysis.
I really hope this helps map out exactly where the digital and physical worlds are colliding right now.